Welcome back to Double Down University. I'm back at you guys with another KBO PrizePicks video. Today I have 3 props on today's slate hitter-wise that I really like. First one being my favorite player in all of KBO, Kim Do-young, over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. And then my favorite play on the board today, which is Jang Sung-woo, over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. And then my wild card play for today, if you just have an extra pick in the 5-man, or if you guys play 6-mans, you could throw this in there as well. Hong Chang Kai over 1.5 total bases. I'll tell you why. It's just my wild card and it's not my full play that I really fully back. It is just something to throw in, that has potential. So let's start off with our KT hitter. He's going up against Jung Kung Bak of the Samsung Lions. So in this case, if you've been watching my previous KBO videos, you know I have 3 factors that I look for when I'm taking hits, runs, and RBIs overs. One being a low K percentage, because that limits the risk of him wasting that bat due to a strikeout. And then also a high walk percentage, as he has at 8%. So that increases the chances of the batter getting on base, as well as, factor that in with the low K percentage. It increases factors of getting on base and being able to score via a walk. And then also left on base percentage. People say, why is that such a big factor? The reason being is because if he strands runners on base, that means that if your hitter gets on via hit or walk, he's most likely going to get out of the inning and they're going to be stranded on base, as opposed to if they are scoring. And you want something lower than 73%, which 73% is the baseline. It's about average. So he's average, but the one thing that shows me his left on base percentage is fictitious is his FIP score. His FIP score is 5.24. Reason why I say that is because FIP score takes away your defense, which I think in this league is the most horrible defense that I've ever seen on a baseball diamond. Close to Little League is the FIP score takes out your defense and it just focuses on what you can control, your walks, hits, as well as home runs given up as well, things that you can control as a pitcher only. So that is why I really, really like to go against him at this 5.24 FIP score number. And then also let's dive a little bit deeper with the bases empty. So nobody on base. He gives up a 323 batting average. So if our batter is likely to get a hit or two, that bodes well for him because the batting average is high on the opposing hitters that face him. And then also with runners on, he gives up a 270 batting average. And then also with runners in scoring position, he gives up a 277 batting average. With runners on second and third base, he gives up a 500 batting average. And then also gives up a 500 batting average with runners on the corners at first and third base. So I really, really like him in that spot. Now let's look at our hitter. In this scenario, he has a excellent walk percentage at 12%. He has an excellent K percentage at only striking out 17% of the time. And then he also has a good ISO power number of 1.68. Now, this is key, and I'll tell you why this is key for another player prop that I will be discussing shortly, which is our wild card. His ISO power is 168. Why is ISO power so important? ISO power tells me the ability to get extra base hits, whether it's a double, triple, or home run. So that shows their capability of getting extra base hits. Now his ISO power number is really, really good. He also has a good on base percentage that is good as well. That's what we look for at 350 or higher. So that bodes well for us. And then also his splits. He's going up against a lefty. He bats 317 against lefties and also has more power on the left side. Against lefties, as he has 8 home runs compared to only 5 against righties. And then also he strikes out less against lefties as opposed to righties, only striking out 18 times compared to 43 times against righties. So I like him. He's my play of the day. Moving forward to our wild card play. So our wild card play is going up against Hung Jung Ryu. Many of you guys may know him because he pitched for the Toronto Blue Jays in the major leagues just last year or 2 years ago. So he gives up a batting average with runners on base at 326, right? And then with bases empty, gives up a 265 batting average. The only thing is he gives up a lot of hard contact and a lot of power to lefties, as he gives up a 320 batting average to lefties, right? And then so happened what PrizePicks is really, really smart at, they only give us left-handed hitters for total bases and not hits, runs, and RBIs. If you go look, all of the LG players that are right-handed are hits, runs, and RBI players, but the only total base players is for lefties. That's why I say this is a lean for me. And I'll get into that in just a second. But he crushes lefties as he bats 345 against lefties. And then on top of that, the thing why I like him as just a lean is because look at his ISO power. I just recently said about our first hitter how he has a 168 ISO power. He has a 0.67 ISO power, so that means he doesn't get extra base hits. This is going to have to come through via 2 base hits, 2 singles, or he miraculously, does the unthinkable and gets a double or triple or a home run. But that's not what he does. But he does manage to have a really, really elite on-base percentage at 438. So the numbers say play it. That's why it's a wild card just based on his ISO power, because he's going to have to get 2 hits. And that is, I won't say it's hard in this league, but it's a tall task to ask of a hitter, especially in these circumstances. You want to kind of knock it out in one at bat. Now, maybe granted he does tonight and gets a double, in his first at bat, or one of his 4 at bats, he gets a double or a home run or any type of extra base hit, or he just happens to get 2 singles and covers that way. So that is why he's my wild card. But moving forward to Kim Do-young, our last hitter, my favorite player in all of KBO, has a favorable matchup again tonight. He's going up against a righty. He gives up a 281 batting average to righties, which Kim Do-young bats righty. He also gives up a 316 batting average to lefties. But one thing about this guy is that he's not a long-term starter. He is more of a piggyback starter. And what I mean by that is that he will only pitch a couple innings and then lead way to the bullpen to pitch the rest of the game. As you see here, he's only pitched 2 innings in his last, this is in March. Pitched 2 innings. He pitched 3 innings, 2. So he's barely pitching. He's like a relief pitcher. The most innings he ever pitched was his last start, which he pitched 7 innings, but he gave up 7 hits. And I don't think he had 1 walk. And in the game before that, he pitched 4 innings, gave up 10 hits, and gave up 3 walks. So this is a favorable matchup. And then also in his splits as far as runner-wise, like runners on base, gives up a 333 batting average to runners on base. And then also with runners in scoring position, he gives up almost a near 400 batting average of 385. Then with runners on the corners, he gives up a 600 batting average to runners on second and third base. In scoring position, he gives up a 667 batting average. So this guy is horrible. Now, granted, he is kind of young. He is 19 years of age, so he has a lot to learn as far as pitching is concerned. But he's going up against one of the best hitters in all of KBO, my favorite player in the KBO right now, Kim Do-young. Reason why I always back him against righties, he crushes righties. But on top of that, with runners anywhere in scoring position or on base, he's going to hit and he's going to bring in runs, as he has a 367 batting average with the bases empty, so he can create all by himself. He has 18 home runs on the seasons with the bases empty. That can clear it just right then and there. His hits, runs, and RBIs. But also with runners in scoring position, he bats 325, and then with runners in scoring position, he bats 327. With runners on first and third base, he bats 300. With runners on first and second, he bats 310. And then with runners only on third base, he bats 333. And then with runners only on second base, he bats near 400 or 395. So that is why I'm taking Kim Do-young tonight. So I'll go over them one more time. So I have Kim Do-young over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. My play of the day is Jae-sung Woo over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. And then my wild card is Hung Chung Kai over 1.5 total bases. I appreciate you guys. Please like, comment, subscribe, and let's keep this hot streak of KBO running. And best of luck.